Hi everyone. So I thought I'd give a quick look around a finished RB26 engine design that I just finalized, and give a little bit of an orientation about how it's set up and how to go about designing it. And I'll flip between design view and this visual view of the renders, just so that you can see how it all sort of comes together. And what I've tried to create is, a much more of a race-inspired aftermarket RB26. And as printers are getting better and the market's getting more competitive, I really wanted to go into a lot more detail and have a lot more features. As you can see from the intake manifolds, the injectors, and that sort of thing, starter motors, everything. I've tried to include the right holes for wiring, very detailed alternator. The harmonic balancer has been redesigned with all the branding and the Allen key bolts, etc. And even provided a few options for the cam gears, so redesigned cam gears and some mechanical Kinsler style fuel pumps for high horsepower. Turbo gets a redesign. There's a bell mouth on it. There's some AN fittings, some billet locks and an elbow. The fuel lines running from the fuel pumps into the fuel rails are there. They're optional. You can use those. You can cut them off, run your own things. The coil packs are a separate piece. It's all one piece with all the coils, just to help with detailing and the printing and make sure they don't get lost. But then they sink into the top of the RB26 head so that it all fits nice and clean. There are some optional engine mounts, so they plug into on both sides of the block. There's a little bit of a mounting location where they plug in. That should help get engines mounted a little bit easier and square. Use them if you want. The new exhaust manifold brings the turbo towards the front, so you can see the turbo locks into that square location. These round pins go into the side of the block. There's the 10 or 12 point bolts and a teal wastegate with the beginning of the dump pipe there, so you can take that detail up to where you want. The valve covers are a billet style valve cover. There's a left side and a right side pins so that you get it correct. The AN fittings for the oil air separators, the cam gears go in the front, and you can see the Allen bolts there. I really like the intake manifold. That worked out really well. So twin rail fuel logs, fuel injectors, depending on the scale you print at, depends on how easily you can get that wiring done. And then the Motion Raceworks Icon throttle body is on there as well, and a billet sort of adapter for the piping at the front. And you can see that silver piece on the side is where you can mount the throttle cable. But yeah, this intake manifold worked out really, really nice. Very happy with it. It's probably the third or fourth turbo intake design I've done for this motor, and so with each one you get a little bit better, and very happy with the way that one came out. With the cam gears, there's a few options depending on how you want to run it. So the cam gears themselves have been completely redesigned, and so you'll see they're adjustable. They've got all the teeth, and they come kind of on their own as a standard. Without the belt, they come with the belt attached as well, and they also come with the Kinsler mechanical fuel pumps mounted on them as well. So you've got the options on how you want it to look, how aggressive you want it to look, how detailed you want it, etc., etc. But I think they're a really nice touch for a high horsepower engine setup. Just a quick look at the timing belt and the back of the timing cover. The timing belt comes separate. That's how it slots in at the back, either with the cam gears or without. There's a little bit of space in the design between the belt and the cam gears, so you can print them and detail them separate and then fit them. It is a bit more fiddly and tricky, but if you want more detail, that's how you go about getting it. The sump, I went a couple of options. Right now it's more of a rear-wheel drive setup with the volume at the back. It's more of a sheet metal design, this one. You can see how it tabs into the bottom of the block, and there's AN fittings, 3 of them, so 1 for each side for the valve cover, oil air separation, and then a drain back for the turbo oil. So you'll see on the turbo there's a AN fitting. The alternator is pretty detailed. There's a separate piece inside that's, you can get some detail in there. The back cover is detailed and also has a location for a wire, and it mounts onto the bottom of the water pump. As I mentioned, the harmonic balance is redesigned. The pin now goes all the way through, so the belts and the pulleys come as one piece, but this just demonstrates how the harmonic balance, which comes as a separate piece, pins through the crank pulley and into the block. So that gets you the ability to detail it a little bit nicer and have another layer of detail. This is the exhaust that comes with it, so it does locate into the back of the turbo. Billet connector on there as well. It does dump down, so you can fabricate the rest of your exhaust from there. Or if it doesn't suit the engine bay you're working with, then model it a slightly different way. But that's the orientation of the new RB26. So this is October 2025. Just been released and uploaded. Very happy with it, so I hope you enjoy. Thanks.